Recently, I had the opportunity to watch the new SAO movie Sword Art Online Progressive Aria of a Starless Night in theaters, and I'm happy to say that I think it bodes very well for the future of the SAO franchise, as it's laid the groundwork to fix a lot of the issues that the series has. If you're not aware of what Progressive is, I'll give a quick rundown. SAO Progressive is based on Reki Kawahara's light novels that are a complete rewrite of the Aincrad arc of Sword Art Online, going floor by floor in much more detail. It also switches the story to being told from Asuna's perspective rather than Kirito's. In addition to these changes, Reki Kawahara has very clearly improved in his writing ability since he wrote the original Aincrad arc as a standalone story for a contest in 2001. I've never been shy about the fact that I like SAO, but I also recognize the many flaws that it has. I'm Matrix, and in this spoiler-free review, I'll give you the top reasons why SAO Progressive is a big improvement from the original series, and why you should give it a try even if you hated the original. To start, SAO Progressive has much better pacing. The movie ends at the same point as episode 2 of the original anime, which means that around 40 minutes of content was expanded into closer to an hour and 40 minutes. Most of the existing scenes from the anime are still present, but they're more fleshed out and have a lot more transitions between them. This allows the movie to do a better job of world building and taking a more show-don't-tell approach when it comes to introducing characters and their personalities. One of the biggest problems with the original Aincrad arc is how breakneck the pacing is, and slowing things down absolutely makes for better storytelling. Another thing that benefits from the change in pace is that the movie's able to show us a lot more about the game mechanics. It's much more immersive when it comes to explaining features of the hardware and software, as well as information about SAO's environments, mobs, and NPCs. The second reason why SAO Progressive is good, and probably the biggest reason overall, is the fact that Asuna is the protagonist. The movie starts before Asuna even gets access to SAO, giving us information about her family dynamic and personality that we don't learn about for a long time in the regular series. This immediately makes Asuna feel much more human and relatable than Kirito. In addition, we get a much more fleshed out explanation of why Asuna becomes one of the game's top players despite having zero previous experience with full dive tech or MMOs. It's a lot more of a realistic climb to the top, one made out of desperation and determination rather than innate skills or prior knowledge like Kirito. And the same way that Asuna works well as the protagonist, Kirito works just as well as the deuteragonist. He doesn't have much of a decrease in his role in the story or his importance, but his overpowered nature that upsets people is less front and center. And in general, overpowered characters work better when they're not the protagonist anyway. Just look at Reinhard from Re:Zero. Everybody loves him, even though he's the most ridiculously OP character around. Kirito's character writing is also quite a bit better in this movie, which I think is due a lot to the expanded time frame. For example, Kirito's reasoning for taking on the beater persona and acting cocky is a lot clearer in the movie, as you can easily tell he's doing it to draw aggression away from other people. Having Asuna as a protagonist allows us to make this realization as she does, which is more natural than trying to guess Kirito's thought process when he's the main character. SAO Progressive also develops the relationship between Asuna and Kirito much more naturally. They meet each other earlier in the movie than they do in the original anime, and have multiple encounters that aren't part of the original storyline. Each time they meet, they learn more about each other and slowly warm up to one another. The movie doesn't rush into any kind of romance, but it develops their friendship in such a way that the coming romance in future movies will feel much more natural. In the original show, the romance aspect progressed extremely quickly, but the added encounters in the movie have provided better stepping stones for getting the same result. The third big thing I want to address with SAO Progressive is that the movie introduces a new character, a friend of Asuna, but it does so very unobtrusively. The character has a major role in the movie, yet she doesn't cause any big disruptions to the storyline, and she helps to solidify Asuna's motivations and personality. This character helps to fill out the time during which Asuna is not interacting with Kirito, and she's quite compelling herself. Like Kirito, she's a beta tester, but that experience causes her to approach the game in different ways than he does, and it also helps explain why Asuna's upward trajectory is so fast. I think including her is an excellent choice for the rewrite. There are just so many other things that the movie does well too. One thing that I noticed is it even expounds a little bit more on the game developer Kayaba Akihiko and his motivations more than the anime does, extending his initial appearance to the players. And in general, the movie is much better than the anime at showing how horrifying it would be to be trapped in a video game that kills you when your health runs out. There are some scenes that are quite brutal compared to the original show, and they demonstrate the desperation and terror of the characters much better, as well as the hard decisions that they have to make to ensure their own survival. And of course, being a movie, SAO Progressive Aria of a Starless Night features more impressive visuals than the show, well worth seeing on the big screen. And it continues the tradition of SAO having one of the best soundtracks in anime, with Yuki Kajiura at the helm. The voice actors are also the same, and it's always great to hear the talents of Yoshitsugu Matsuoka and Haruka Tomatsu as Kirito and Asuna. The second movie in the series is coming next year, so I'm excited to see it and I hope it keeps up the good work. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for weekly content. I'm Matrix from Matrix AM, Anime, and more, and I hope you have a great day.